So the whole idea is tonight we're going to obviously mix those rhythms in that we did in session 1 with semiquavers, okay? And a semiquaver can also be called a 16th note. Now, of course, if you take that same idea that all our note lengths are related to common time, that means we can have 16 of them in a bar, okay? Now, the thing to be very careful of is when you explain time signatures, if you're teaching somebody, don't say there are 4 crotchets in a bar. That's what a lot of kids will say. They'll say there's 4 crotchets in a bar. Make sure you say beats, 4 crotchet beats, okay? So here we have our 8th notes. So we're halfway down our pyramid at the moment. So here's our 8th notes, and we have 8 of them. So we'll do 8 8th notes equals the same as 4 quarters. Now we're going to add to that our semiquavers. Now you'll notice, I'll maybe just turn my mic up a bit for a while so when I'm turned around the other way it'll be a lot louder for you. Okay, so we now have our semiquavers. Of course we can call them, in the American version, 16th notes, and we have 16 of those in a common time 4/4 bar. Okay, now that's really useful to know. In our first session in level 1, we were talking about how we could assign words to our note lengths, and we're going to have the same principle here. Okay, so for this we were using coffee. We said any two syllable word was fine. You could simply use that to try and get your rhythms right. Now with semiquavers, we're going to change that to Coca-Cola. Some reason I quite like drinks. So Coca-Cola. Okay, now that's just something, if you put a load of rhythms on the board and you were to then go, ooh, how do I play that? Well, the first thing that we need to do, obviously, when we're reading music, is we need to look at the time signature. That indicates how many beats are in the bar. The composer or the arranger should then write their rhythms out in a way where you can see where those beats are. So, for instance, I could immediately write a rhythm out using Coca-Cola, coffee, T was our crotchet, so let's see what happens when we do that. So here was our quarter note, so we know that lasts for 1 beat, and in level 1 we decided that the word that we would use was T. And then we're going to put 2 8th notes, so we would write the word coffee. And then for our last rhythm, we've said the word Coca-Cola again. Now I'm just going to use a slightly different colour pen, or not slightly, very different colour pen. Now it makes it very clear now to the musician who's sight reading where the beat in the bar is. Now that's really important because that's how we accent, that's how we indicate we're in a time signature. Time signatures don't just indicate the number of beats in a bar, they indicate to the musician the groove. And that's really important because we're going to be looking at 6/8 time signatures today. They're compound time signatures and they have a totally different feel. So here, 4/4. If I was to say this rhythm to myself that's now written on the board, here's a click. I would say Coca-Cola tea, coffee tea. Coca-Cola tea, coffee tea. Okay, Coca-Cola tea. Sorry, I was saying tea at the end, but I'm not even looking at the board. Tea, coffee, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola tea, coffee, Coca-Cola. Now, it's great when you can say words because in general, when we use our words, it totally makes it easier because you don't really rush your words. What we tend to do as guitarists is we get a little bit stressed and we rush our strumming, which is a little bit frustrating to the rest of the band when you're sat there and the drummer's like, yeah, man, they're really laying down a beat, whether it's like Billie Jean or it's the Purdy Shuffle or something, and then the guitarist comes in and they're a little bit excited. And usually people rush when either they're nervous, excited, or getting louder. So dynamics usually indicate you get louder, but for most people it seems to indicate that it means getting faster as well. So if you use words to get your rhythms, it really helps. So I'm going to just suggest that we actually just practice for a second on page 1 of your document. It says audio example 1. Now, I haven't done videos for this course just on the simple fact that it's just about reading rhythm, it's about listening, and it's about getting your timing right. So we're literally, you could pick any chord. I mean, we're using the note of D, so maybe we could use a D chord, just a D major chord. And when you practice this, sorry, just move that around a bit. When we practice this, we'll do it first of all without a click. Okay, what we're going to do instead is we're going to use a drum beat. So I'm just going to put a drum beat on. It's quite slow. Now, before you even play it, you would have to say it. So we're actually going to do the very last line, guys. Instead of starting at where it says bar 2, okay, let's just do the last line where it starts with coffee. So we'll just be going coffee, 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 Coca-Cola, 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 Coca, and really try and feel the words and the beat. Coca-Cola, 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 Coca-Cola. Now, if you find it fast, we can slow that down just a little bit.
Andy, you probably want to turn that backing track, the click track up, or the backing track up.
It's peaking at my end, though, so I'm worried that if we put it to... we'll do it without just now. It doesn't really matter. Okay. We'll do it without, right? So we're just going to... I really want you to get used to not rushing. So I'll tell you what we're doing now. We're going to start at T. So we're going to be going T, 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 T. Now coffee, 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 Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. Back to T, 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 T. Now coffee, coffee, coffee. Now as you're doing it, really try and look at that rhythm. See how it's grouped into beats. So we've got crotch shits. They're 1 beat each. 1 crotchet beat. Now we've got 8th notes. 3 and 4, and then 1 eander, 2 eander, 3 eander, 4 eander. Now, you might struggle with the strumming and the speed, but we're not worried about that. What we're worried about is getting that reading rhythm right. Now, if you quickly just move on to page 2, because I think a lot of this is quite self-explanatory if you did the previous lesson. There are some very, very, very common rhythms that utilize these semiquaver patterns, okay, so these 16th notes. And the first one would be what we've just done, where you've got 4 of them at the same time. Coca-Cola, 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 Coca-Cola. So you can see that, guys, in audio example 2. I'm going to share my screen just in case anyone's a little bit unsure of what we're looking at. So hopefully you can all see if it's on the screen. So here we have Coca-Cola, okay? This one is very common, where we basically have 2 semiquavers or 2 16th notes followed by an 8th note. Now, I quite like an apple pie myself. My dad's a baker, so I use apple pie for this one, and it's apple pie, da da da, da da da, da da da, da da da. Okay, apple pie, apple pie, apple pie, apple pie. And then the other one swaps it the other way around. So again, a very, very common rhythm that we see is this one here that I'm just rotating around. Blackberry, blackberry, da 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 da. That would be, what do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? Dun 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 dun. So that rhythm that I'm singing there, for instance, would be 2 blackberries followed by 4 8th notes, so 2 coffees. Blackberry, blackberry, coffee, coffee. And it seems ridiculous, and you're sitting there going, oh my goodness, I'm saying all these rhythms. But it absolutely means that you get it accurate, and that's what you're aiming for. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look now at just some very simple 4-bar example rhythms without rests. Now, the rests make things a lot harder. Obviously, remember that for every single note that we're learning, there is also a rest of the same length. So you have symbols that indicate a note that is played or sung, and you have rests that obviously indicate silence. And as a musician, we're going to have to do that silence. So what I'm going to do is I'm not gonna pick on people, but I'm gonna choose people to a little degree. We're literally gonna have a go together at playing audio example 3. Okay? Now you can either just say the words or you can play the rhythm yourself. Now the way I would do this is if I was sight reading and I was a beginner, I wouldn't try and sight read that entire 4 bars first off. I would probably do a bar at a time, make sure I'm accurate. When you listen to the rhythmic examples that I've recorded for you, you can slow that down using an app, and we're going to send you a link to an app that you can download. It's free, okay? You can get paid ones, but just put that in, slow it down to the speed that's right for you. Everything comes with a click, everything comes with a counting, okay? So then you can just do it at the speed that's right for you. But if we were, for instance, to have a go at the first line, so we're doing bar 10 and bar 11, so that's the first line of audio example 3. If I was to give you a click, you would say to yourself, Coca-Cola tea, coffee tea, and then long coffee apple pie. So here I know we're sticking in lots of different rhythms, but we're trying to assign phrases to those rhythms that we've seen before. So remember, apple pie. Here's the funny one, apple pie at the end. So we'll try that again. 1, 2, 3. So we've got Coca-Cola tea, coffee tea, long coffee apple pie. Okay, now if you try and play that on the guitar, it could be a little bit harder because we're not doing it too slow. I'm just going to keep my guitar down a little bit because I want to make sure you can hear what I'm saying. And as I count you in, I'm going to give you a 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to actually say the words as you play the part. Okay, so hopefully, can I just have a thumbs up? Does everyone actually have the music in front of them? Can I disable this? Yeah, I can disable the screen and then we can see each other better. Great, so here we go, guys. So I'm going to do I'll give you a counting of 1, 2.
Hang on
3.
a sec, Andy. Hillary,
Yep.
have you got the music?
No, oh goodness. Have you guys not printed it out, or
Not printed
have you got
out, Hillary. Or...
I haven't got it.
I've got it, but I can't find out which page you're on. Which
We're just on. We're literally on page 2
of. I've got
of the beginner level 2 session 1.
right.
Not the home practice examples.
So it's the first bit.
No, I haven't got the right pages either.
Okay, so guys, the one that you want is not the home practice examples. It's session 1.
Probably best to hold it up again, Andy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's what I'm doing. I have to re-go through the process to do that. But it would be good if you guys can try and get it, just because there's certain things you're going to want to be able to see my guitar and not the screen when we get onto some songs that utilize these rhythms. Okay, so here you are. We're on page 2 of the first document in the first folder, numbered number 1.
Got it now.
Okay. Excellent. So you've got audio example 3, Paul, and we're just having a look at how we read these rhythms. And just remember, at the moment, those words are there to help you. Once they're taken away, I want you to utilize the same idea, but put the words in yourself. Get to the point, though, where you're not having to write them in. I mean, really, you just want to be able to see those, identify them, say them, play them. So we're going to use the chord of E minor, because what we're aiming towards with these rhythms is to be able to play a little bit of the old Pink Floyd. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coca-Cola tea, coffee tea. Let this one ring. 1, 2, coffee, apple pie. Do it again. Just that line. Just that line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coca-Cola tea, coffee tea, long coffee, apple pie. Now, as you're reading, it's not really going to work if you can't stay in time. So it's really important that you practice this stuff to a metronome. You've got to get the beat ingrained within your body, guys. I don't know why I'm looking at myself on the screen because you can't see me. I'm like, hey, do I look cool? Who knows? So I'm tapping my foot all the time as I do this. I'm really trying to feel the beat. It's not just about reading, it's about putting it into practice. So here we go again. We're going to do that line again. Then we're going to do the next line. And then we're going to put the 2 together. So 1, just with an E minor chord. 3, 4, Coca-Cola tea, coffee tea. Let this ring for 2. 1, 2, coffee, apple pie. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coca-Cola tea, coffee tea, long coffee, apple pie. Now, I'm going to give you guys, literally, I have a stopwatch in front of me. I'm going to give you 1 minute to practice by yourselves the next line. Okay, so you should be able to get this. I'll literally just put on a very simple. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. See if you can really try and get your beat really right. So say your words. Coca-Cola tea, coffee tea. If you struggle to play it, literally just clap it. "30 seconds. Think of this as sight reading practice. This is what is expected of students doing their exams. 1, 2, 10 seconds. Okay, so hopefully you guys have got this right. Here we go. I'm going to play it. See if you can play along. I'll give you a count in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coca-Cola tea, coffee tea, coffee, coffee, Coca-Cola tea. Everyone right? Easy? I mean, I want it to be easy. I want to make sure that you can do it. Okay, the idea of this is not for the playing to be hard. The playing should be pretty simple. Okay, well, if you can get that right, we're now going to try and sight read a 4-bar rhythmic pattern. Okay, now at the moment we're not really sight reading because you still got the words there. Hey, hallelujah, should be easy. Oh, that's the song at the end. So audio example 4. Okay, this will be exactly as it sounds on the recording that you can listen to, but of course the recording will have a click and it will have a count in. At the moment I'm just going to give you a count in. Keep your foot tapping, please, guys, and say the words as you play. So we're going to try and sight read audio example 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coffee, coffee, apple pie, coffee, 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 apple pie, tea. Coffee, coffee, Coca-Cola, coffee, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, coffee, tea. Now, I think that quite a lot of people would have struggled with that because that is longer than it seems. And you'll find that generally, if you're doing anything that's West Endy, I know we're not all going to be falling into West End jobs right now. Well, there aren't any, so shouldn't laugh at that, but it's true. We don't have any work at the moment. You will find that the rhythms change a lot. Now, in most of the stuff that you guys are playing, you would have a pattern. Okay, and that pattern will be quite repetitive and will only occasionally change. So you'd probably have the first bar pattern and it would be the same, but you'd just be changing chord. You need to be able to identify these. So we're going to try that again. Let's do it a few times, and I really want you to be able to identify these rhythms because in a minute you will be going away from using words, and I'm actually going to pick people. We're going to say, right, everyone's got a minute to do it. Right, we'll go with Bill. Just because he's always smiling at the end of my courses. He's smiling now thinking, you bastard. Okay, here we go. So those 4 bars again, an E minor chord, don't care where you play it. Could be at 7th fret if you want, 12th fret. Bar chords, ladies and gentlemen, in 2.5 weeks we'll be doing that course. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's coffee, coffee, apple pie, coffee, 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 apple pie, tea. Coffee, coffee, Coca-Cola, coffee, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, coffee, tea. Now the thing for me, guys, that makes this easier to read is you can literally see how the beats have grouped those notes together. So you can see here, okay, a lot of the time, if we have 4 quavers within the first 2 beats, you won't do this if it's over beats 2 and 3, but if it's over beats 1 and 2 or beats 3 and 4, and we have 4 quavers, we will group those quavers together. Obviously, this is a chord, not individual notes, but the length of that chord is still a quaver, still an 8th note, so we've grouped those together. So we know that that's half a bar. We can see that this is grouped together in a beat, this is grouped together in a beat. 2 beats, beat, beat. So everything that we're writing is written in a way that's trying to help you read that rhythmic pattern. So if you're going to try and transcribe something or you're going to write a song, you need to make sure that you adopt that principle yourself when you write something down. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for the musician to read it. I have this all the time in GCSE music students when they do their compositions and they just play it in on the piano straight into Sibelius and it doesn't group the notes correctly. It's impossible to read. It's not impossible, but it's bloody hard. Okay, so here we are. There's loads more examples. I'm actually going to pick on Bill straight away, just because he's there and he's a victim. Audio example 5, Bill. Some people can't see it. I think you've got the music in front of you. The thing with this is there are rests. Just to quickly, I'm going to go over this before Bill has to have a go. So I'm going to just quickly unshare the screen. Okay. For every single note, remember that we have a rest that is the equivalent length of that note, okay? We went over this in level 1. Those of you don't have it, take a pen and pencil and copy this down now, okay? Or take a screenshot or watch the video. So, on the piano, or when you're singing, or when you're playing a wind instrument of any sort, or a bowed instrument of any sort, rests are incredibly simple. Why? Because when I stop, it stops, yeah? When you play the guitar, that note will not stop, so don't forget we have to physically acknowledge that rest by bringing the side of the palm of the hand down, or this part here, or this part. You bring it down and you must stop those strings. If you don't do that, that rhythm is not accurate. So we have to know what the rests are, how long they last, and which note they're equivalent to. So let's have a quick look. Okay, so oh, I've done that too many times. Okay, let me just turn this light away so it's not on the board. Okay, I can't do anything about the ceiling lights. I'm very sorry. I can't get a ladder out right now. Okay, here we have 4/4. Okay, now the most common rests. Here is a note. That note lasts for 4 beats. That's what its rest looks like. I'm not going to go into a whole spiel about it because that was in level 1, but I'm just going to quickly go through them. If you have a 2-beat rest, it's like a little tunnel. A little person looks in the tunnel. T for 2. The one that you're going to find is most common for you guys will be a crotchet rest, and I always think that looks like a mountain range turned on its side. That's how I kind of remember a crotchet rest. It's a nice little squiggle, and that lasts for 1 crotchet beat. It's very important that we say crotchet beat, okay? Because if it was 6/8, okay, it would be 2 1/8 notes, okay? But that wouldn't be a very regular rest to have. Okay, if we had this one, a quaver. The rest sign that you will see for a quaver will be a little, it's like a little 7, but it's got like a little dot on the edge, so it looks like a little blip on there. That is a quaver rest. Now, in audio example 5, the rhythm that Bill's going to have a go at playing has rests in it. Now, he only has to do, well, he could go for the whole thing if he wants, that's up to him. He can either do 1 line or 2 lines. You can all practice because we've got 1 minute, okay? I will share the screen with you again so you can see exactly what Bill is going to be having a go at. So this is what Bill's going to be having a go at. So this is audio example 5. Now you can see here that there are crotchet rests marked into our music. So for Bill to be correct, he needs to make sure that not only is the rest the right length, but he does stop his strings. Now, Bill's a pretty good player, and he's a good lad, and he's a good laugh, so I'm sure he won't mind me making him do this. So what we're going to do is we're literally going to have, again, because you would actually get 30 seconds in a normal music exam, okay? But we're going to give you all 1 minute, but then Bill is going to unmute at the end of that minute and have a go at playing it. And you guys could, you can either play along or you can kind of listen, and we'll just have a chat and say, yep, was that right? Was that wrong? Other people, please do have a go. In the home practice examples, it gets to the point where you don't have any words at all, so that's up to you. Okay, the stopwatch, guys, is starting. And you have 1 minute, and it's begun now. So Bill, 1 minute. Remember, guys, you have rests. So we can all practice playing it, but Bill's going to have a go at playing it to all of us. This is going to be really interesting for those watching back. Maybe tell a joke. Okay, you got 20 seconds, guys. 15. Don't let the stress levels make you rush, Bill, hey? Here we go. Okay, so Bill, if you'd like to unmute, get those tasty valve tones going. I'll do it. Can you unmute it? Oh, there you go. There we are.
Is that it? Can you
Hello,
hear
Bill.
me?
Yes, we can. How are you doing, mate?
Fine, thank you.
Good, good. So, I mean,
will go for both lines. Okay.
excellent. Have you read, just to check, have you read music before?
No, and I didn't actually come to part one either. So.
Oh wow! Well, if you, I'm so glad I picked on you. This is gonna. If you get this right, I'll send you some flowers and a legendary card in the post. Okay.
I'll just give it a go. Right.
Brilliant.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on. I'll start again.
And remember, if you're going to count in that fast, your Coca-Cola. You went 1, 2. You'd have to go Coca-Cola. Da-da-da-dum. So I counted about. I counted maybe 1, 2, 3. And it would be Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coca-Cola. Totally lost it on the second line.
So it's not bad. I'm just gonna take the screen off for a second, just so it's a bit more communable, and change the camera as well while I'm on it. Okay, actually, to be honest, I think everyone would acknowledge, mate, that if you've never done one of the reading rhythm courses before, a lot of that was very good. For those, what the bits that kind of went a little bit of a slip, you could say, were the rests. It's very difficult for people not to either be too short on a rest or too long on a rest. So what I would say is, although the rest doesn't have a word under it, if you know it lasts the same length as a crotchet beat, you know, just a dot with one line coming down, you could say the word T. Okay, so you just wouldn't play. So that first bar, guys, I know some of you haven't got it in front of you, but it was Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. Okay, so it was 4 semiquavers, a crotchet rest, 4 semiquavers, crotchet rest. So the way you would want to do that is you would actually want to say the word for the rest as well. So this would have been Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, and then the next one is Coca-Cola tea, Coca-Cola tea. Now the thing is, as soon as you put a guitar in your hands, it does make the whole process harder. There's no getting away from that. So if I was to strum that to you, I'll count it as I do it, okay? So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See what I mean? So my rest is an exact length. I make sure that my rest comes in immediately after this note is finished its length. This part was very good. It's when we have to go from one rhythm to another. So here in this lower line, Bill and everyone else, you have 4 semiquavers, or Coca-Cola followed by coffee. And the difficulty is that we end up going Coca-Cola coffee. So our coffee, your coffee notes became the same length. So that's why we try and say, if you use words, you could have said Coca-Cola coffee. Tea. Now I bet if you were to do that again but without the guitar, and you actually clapped the rhythm but you said the words in your head, you will undoubtedly get it 50% better. So I know that it seems like an odd thing to do, but I'm actually going to suggest that we all try this. Don't worry about the guitar. The guitar is a technical instrument. It's hard to play. So we're going to try this together, but Bill's going to clap it. And if you count us in, Bill, and just clap the rhythm, we'll see whether you get it right. I mean, you're a legend. I can't believe you went for both lines. Maybe a legend or a nutter. I'm not quite sure which. Okay. Oh, that's on video. Excellent. I'll send that bit to you. So if you count yourself in and clap, see whether that helps.
Clapping would be Coca-Cola.
Yes, it would be Coca-Cola. Now, what I do, actually, I'm just going to unshare. What I kind of do for a rest, which is what I teach when I'm teaching kind of large classes of people, it seems a bit ridiculous when you say it, but if you imagine that there are two walls either side of you, so you've decided to kind of get in a little cubby hole and you're practicing rhythms, you go Coca-Cola out, and when you hit the wall, that's the rest. Do you see what I mean? So you kind of overdo it. So it's Coca-Cola rest, Coca-Cola rest, Coca-Cola tea, Coca-Cola tea, and then it's Coca-Cola coffee, rest, tea, Coca-Cola coffee, tea, out. So I actually make the rest a movement within my arms, and that really helps, because what you're trying to do is cement the kind of feeling of the beat, and actually by having a motion where you hit a wall, either or an imaginary wall, you kind of go, okay, that's a beat, because we're only doing crotchet beats. So I'll put it back up on the screen just because I know a couple of people haven't got it. And let's just have another go if we can, Bill, and just see if clapping that might just help take away some of the difficulty. So.
Okay.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I think that was a lot better. Anybody else got any viewpoints? I think that was better. I would give that a thumbs up. Okay, oops, sorry. I would say that the rests are just a little bit long. Like you could just feel that you were stalling a little bit on the crotchet rests, and when you were having to go from one line to the next, there was a slight stall. But if a student came into an exam room and you said, here is the chord of D, your sight reading test is to play this rhythm, you have 30 seconds to practice, and you played it like that, you would have got 8 out of 10. Which is great. You know, that's a really good start. But we can see then, if we assign words to our rhythms, it absolutely helps. So there are others in here. We're going to do audio example 6 only because we're going through the chords that we need to play as well as we get up to this song. So guys, we've got another chord now, and I might just go over the theory slightly of what it means just for fun. It's A7.
Andy,
yeah.
Andy, quick. Paul, did you want to speak then? I've noticed the hand was up just temporarily. No? Okay, fine.
So that was his wife saying, would you like a cup of tea? Yes, please, darling. So we've now got a chord in audio example 6. Sorry, I must remember to share. Sorry, if I forget to share and you haven't got the music, just go, Andy, you're fool, and just put the Edna Mode from the Incredibles voice on. We have a chord here called A7 sus4. Juicy little chord, this. It's easy to play and sounds great. Okay, so here's the shape. I'll just make this large for a second so everyone can get that under their fingers. You're going to put the first finger here. Your first finger's going on the D string at 2nd fret. You're then going to put your 3rd finger down, please, guys, on the 3rd fret of the B string, or 2nd from the floor, 2nd top, however you want to call it, and then the little finger behind that on the top E string. And you'll have a chord that sounds like this. And it's a really nice chord. I love this chord. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna use this chord now just to have a quick go at playing this audio example. The only reason I'm making you do these chords is because it's going to make it easier when we try and actually put this into context in a song later on. So here now we have one line of rhythm. We're actually mixing in now, instead of just doing Coca-Colas and coffees and teas, we're now mixing in these apple pie tea. these types of rhythms. Now, before you even play it on the guitar, if you're at all unsure, I would definitely practice this stuff with a beat, with a drum beat or a click on. And I'd just be going T, rest, apple pie, T, rest, apple pie, T, rest, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, long coffee, tea. Okay, but I'm really making sure that the beat is strong. T, rest, apple pie, T, rest, apple pie, T, rest, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, long coffee, tea. Now, it's one thing reading. When you have to apply that onto an instrument, it does get harder. The thing that's going to be hard for some of you, if you're still relative beginners on the playing side, is should I be strumming up? Should I be strumming down? Who knows? Okay, that's for a strumming course. But I will mention quickly that if you are playing on the beat, so where the 1 is, where the 2 is, where the 3 is, where the 4 is, those should, in this case, be a down strum. And I would be alternating this, so I would be going down, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. You know, I'm just, if I was to do everything, so Coca-Cola's, it would just be alternating down, up all the whole time. So I'm going to play this to you, see if you can play along. But remember, you're trying to acknowledge the rhythm. Don't just kind of listen and then play it back. If you're doing that, that's called transcribing and playing by ear. That's not the aim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Apple pie, 1, 2. Apple pie, tea, 1, 2. Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, 1, 2. Coffee, tea. Okay, we'll do that again. This time I'm only going to count the beat. I'm not going to say the words. I was mixing it in there, but now it's just going to be the beat. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I almost did it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, again. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, is everyone okay so far? We might not be getting the rhythm right, but is everyone pretty cool in terms of what we're suggesting, how we're showing how long those notes are, and how you would assign words to those rhythms? Are we all cool? Wicked. Everybody seems happy. Or slightly stressed. It's totally different. It's funny, this stuff, because it's so different to playing a song, but it's so useful because if you go on residential courses, and especially when we do the group stuff, if you can read the rhythm, it just makes life so much quicker. I mean, if you said to me, okay, I mean, Ronnie said to me, Andy, why should they be learning this? It's a simple fact that if you can read music, you increase the speed of learning by at least 50%. Okay, because if you can look at something and not be confused by it, so here are the things I think that you should learn, okay? My top pick. Facts of the I'm going to give you stuff to practice over Christmas presents from Andy will be associated around this. One, it is not necessarily reading pitch, because I think for most of us, we're not here trying to play flute or melodies, but rhythm notation, definitely. Understanding chord voicings. You know, what does A7 sus4 mean? I think that would be brilliant. Are you all comfortable with bar chords and knowing all the root notes on the bottom 3 strings? That kind of thing. You know, can you arrange so that if I said, I want you to record 4 guitar parts, all different, here are 4, it's only 4 chords, could you do that? So it's taking that knowledge, doing that. You know, can you be comfortable in multiple styles of music? So I said, hey, here's 4 chords, but we're going to do it in reggae, we're going to do it in soul. Being able to understand what is expected within a style of music. And the 5th one, you know, understanding how to groove and how to solo. You know, you don't need to be complicated, but those 5 things are the key. And if you can tick off reading rhythm, you are massively, massively sticking, you know, if you've ever watched The Matrix where they had the corridor and you've got all the doors, you've just opened about 7 of them. You know, you've got a corridor at the moment and you've got about 5 keys on it. You know, you want to have all 20, and that will really help. Okay, we're going to quickly kind of blast on with this because I'm just conscious of time. At the moment, everything that we've been doing is in the time signature of 4/4. Okay, don't forget common time 4/4, most common time signature of all time. Most pop songs, rock songs, all of those will be in 4/4. If you wanted a waltz and you decided you were going to go back to the old Henry VIII time, 3/4. Okay. Dun, dun, ba, ba, dum, ba, da, dum, 2, 3. I got another exercise for you. Ding, guitar weekends. Okay, so that would be 3/4. If I wanted to do something that was more ballad orientated, now that changes everything. So I don't know whether we have any John Mayer fans here, but that great song that we often do on the Guitar Weekend Residential Courses is a tune called Gravity by John Mayer off the Continuum album. If you haven't heard it, please go and listen to it. That is not in 6/8, it's in 12/8, but it has the same idea. Okay, so 6/8, 12/8, 9/8. These are compound time signatures. Now, just to do a little bit of kind of nudging back for anyone that's not sure what we mean by compound time and simple time. We've got a friend of ours who we should really have on at this moment in time, eh, Ronnie? I won't mention any names. He's not here. Okay, so in music, there are time signatures, and those time signatures, as we know, indicate to the musician how many beats there are in the bar. But not only that, it indicates the feel of the music. So there is a combination between the style that we are playing and the time signature that we are in that indicates to me as a guitarist what I should play. What should I be laying down, okay? Now, simple time is where literally the top number and the bottom number just tell you how many beats there are in the bar. And that's it. So you'd have 4/4. Okay, we've got 4 crotchet beats in a bar. Okay, 3/4. You have 3 crotchet beats in a bar. Okay, there's the beat. Now, the fact is that when we're in I'm not going too much into this because this was on a previous course and I don't want to. When it comes to compound time signatures, and I'm rushing over this, a compound time signature is where we have a time signature such as 6/8, 9/8, 12/8. Okay, those are the most common compound time signatures. Now, compound, I kind of explain it to the students at school as complicated rather than simple. It's not actually complicated, but it's how they remember it. What we know is that the top number is telling me there are 6 beats in a bar, and those beats are worth 8th notes. So I'm going to quickly draw 6 8th notes out for myself. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stem, 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 stem. Now I have 2 ways I can group these notes, and I'm going to show you the difference. I'm now going to do 3/4. Now there are 3 crotchet beats in a bar. Let's say, hang on a second. Well, how many 8th notes are there in a quarter note? 2. Okay, 1. Okay. Now at the moment I haven't joined any of these together and I haven't put the little stems on, so it just looks like crotchets at the moment. I'm very sorry, but obviously you know where I'm going with this. If it was simple time, they'd be grouped together in groups of 2 or 4 or 8 or 12 or whatever. You know, that's why I have 16s. When we're up at the top, when we have compound time signatures, I ain't grouping them in 2s. I'm grouping them in 3s. Now this is really, really important because it completely changes the groove. Now I remember, and Roddy might remember this as well, I don't know if any of you were on a rhythm course where I said, and it was at the end of the course, and I said, okay, play me a rhythm in 3/4. Okay, play me a rhythm in 6/8. Nobody could get it. Here's the important part. When you play in 6/8, because it's grouped into 2 groups of 3, we're not doing dotted notes in this lesson. We're going to do that next on Wednesday. But we have what's called a dotted crotchet beat. 6/8 has a feeling of 2. Okay, it's brilliant. Like there are so many songs that do it. You know, the really famous one, of course. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you can hear that I'm playing 6 notes, but even the way I'm playing the chord, low, 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 high, low, going lower, low, low, bum, 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 bum. So it's even played in a way where it sounds like it's going up this way for 3 and it's coming down for 3, but it definitely has a feeling of 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 3, 4 will be 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2. Ba 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 da da. It's much straighter. So 6/8 will have that beautiful thing where you grab your partner around the waist, you put your hand in hand, and you're going for this kind of just very chilled. You know, you're not doing the waltz, dun, dun, where you kind of go 2 steps to the left, 2 steps to the right. It's not that. It's a ballad, okay? And 12/8, which I think is really another very, 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 very common compound time signature, is where we have 12 eighth notes. Sorry. And we've grouped those 12 eighth notes into 4 groups of 3. So now this is important, this is important, this is important, this is important. So now if we said, okay, well, which are the important ones? How many important ones do I have? 4. So here's the cool thing. 12/8 has a feeling of 4. 4 dotted crotchet beats. Why is it important? Because it's all about the groove. So gravity stays on the chord twice as long. See? Forgot how to play guitar there. See what I mean? Because you can count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now if I just changed it to 4, different feel. Still got a feeling of 4. 1, 2, 3. But it's straight, not 1. So that's really important. Now, just going to come off this for a second. You can count these. I hope that made sense to everyone. Please stop me and pause if it didn't. Ronnie's got a question.
I've got a question. So you got 6/8 and 12/8. You stick
Yes.
2 6/8s together, you kind of get 12/8. So is it the changing of the chord every two bars almost, or every 2?
Well, yes. So if the chord was changing every 2 bars and it was always that, you would immediately change it to 12/8 because it would just be weird because you're playing it for 2 groups of 2. So really you've got 1 group of 4. So I mean you can really hear the difference. You know, if I am playing well I heard there was a secret chord David played and it 1, 2. You don't really care for music, do you? Well, the government doesn't seem to. There it goes. Hey, I got a moaning. So there you go. But you know, if you went can't remember the words. And you know what? This is the funny thing. It will change the counting as well. So if the groove is in 6/8, the drummer will usually count like this, Ronnie. They'll go 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, boom, ba, doom, ba, 1, 2. Now at the moment, until the band comes in, you wouldn't be able to tell necessarily, unless the drummer was putting in a very cool little fill every time, whether or not the drummer was in 2 or 4. Okay, you'd know that they were in 6/8 or 12/8, but you wouldn't know. So it's actually the guitarist, the piano player, the bass player, those are the harmonic instruments that will staple down whether or not that is in 6/8 or 12/8. There are a number of ways. Obviously, there are different ways that you can count this. Then, so On the sheet, some of you will be able to see, some of you, I don't need to share this on the screen, I can just explain it. You can, therefore, if you're going to count your band in 6/8, you could either count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you could just go a 1, 2, a 1, 2, 1, 2, because you would expect the musician to have the feel in there. So 6/8 is a really important time signature, and we could literally, I'm going to actually get you to play something in 6/8 with me now. So we're going to do it in the key of G. We're actually just going to come up. I'm going to get Ronnie to unmute for me. He's going to choose your chords. We're not doing reading here for a second. I know this is read rhythm chords, but I think that actually understanding the feel of the time signature is just as important, because if you don't understand the feel of a time signature, you won't put your accent in the right place. Now, when you're reading rhythm, a lot of the time we don't write an accent on everything. It's up to the musician to know where the accent should be placed. What I mean by accent is, I don't mean you suddenly start talking like this. Accenting in music means to give, to play a note out, to play it louder. So da-dum, da, da-dum. That's how the drum does it. Now, as a guitarist, one of the things that kind of frustrates me a lot of the time is that guitarists just think, I'm a guitarist. Please change the way you view. Change the way you view your music. You're not a guitarist. You're a musician, okay? And you need to think of it as a musician. If you do not have a drummer, it is up to you, even if you were reading a rhythmic part, to get that groove across. So, Ronnie, we're in the key of G.
Mm-hmm.
I only want you to come up with a 4-bar chord sequence that utilizes chords 1, 4, 5, and 6, and we're in 6/8. So you've got one chord per bar.
Okay, let's try. Let's stick a bar chord in this, shall we, just to annoy everybody? So
Well, you don't have to do any of these as bar
No.
chords, guys.
Let's start off with a D.
A D in the key of G.
Oh, in the key of G. Sorry. Okay, so sorry. I'm going. Okay, G.
Yeah.
G, E minor. Oh, G's boring. Right, G, D minor, C, and D.
Okay. Now, we're going to write a rhythm under that. So I'm also going to ask Ronnie to just come up with a rhythm. It doesn't matter what it is, but of course, Ronnie, it does matter. It does matter a lot what it is. It needs to be in 6/8, please, Ronnie. So remember that what we've discussed then, guys, is that 6/8, you're going to have a feeling of 2. So whatever Ronnie chooses, it needs to be written down in a way that can be played in 6/8. So Ronnie, you can either use quavers, semi-quavers, crotchets, dotted crotchets. So I just want you to give me one rhythm that's going to be used the whole time. So it's only going to be
through.
Yeah, the whole way through. So we just need one part.
Yeah. So let's try 3. Well, let's try just 3 quavers and then a rest for the rest.
What? Okay, you can if you want. I'll tell you what. I'll change it slightly. I'm going to change it slightly. Crotchet rest.
Okay,
and then a quaver at the end.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
right.
Dun, dun, dun,
and then leads into the next part.
Dun,
Okay, fine.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. So you've got a rhythm here, guys. You could either strum it or you could pick it. So you could be like this. So if we took this, if for instance you could practice this just with the chord of G, and now you're turning your reading rhythm or writing down your rhythms so that you can say to your other friends if you've got a band or anything, and you just want to jam with people. So I'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's very difficult. I'll tell you why. It's not difficult to read. It's just horrible to play. So I'm gonna be unfair on Ronnie, and I'm gonna change it slightly and put another rest there and put another note in. Okay, so dun 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 bum 1, 2, 3 bum dun 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 da da dun dun dun. So and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the interesting thing is, how would I play it? If I'm in 6/8, can anyone remind me? And it can't be Ronnie. Ooh, hello, Kate. I love the way you say the name, though. It's either like, oh, no. Anyone can just think about this. The important beats, guys, are this one and this one. So if I was to take a chord, here's how I'd do it, right? I'd start off, let's say we're just doing it as almost, I'll just put that down like that. Here's the low part of the chord, and I go doom, 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 and then I'm going to do an up strum, and then I'm going to hit a bass note. So you don't even need to write a rhythmic part. You don't even need to write it as rhythm. You're just trying to get, just trying to get feel. So in that, if I put the chord of G down, guys, I will be doing low strings, and then I do an upward strum on the top strings to get this note, and then I hit a low note here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Does that make sense? Because you've got to remember that when you're playing, you're trying to get the groove. Okay? So let's just make sure that you can play all those chords. Just quickly spend a minute just getting happy with those. Okay? And I'm just going to find, it might be a rubbish. I'm going to put that up a bit. Ronnie, let me know when that's a good volume for you on the drum. Down. Up. Oh, it's peaking so much at this end.
Okay, that's a bit too loud. Okay, that's fine.
You hear it okay?
I can. Is everybody else okay?
G. E minor. C. It's the same groove the whole way. G. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Really get that upbeat. Okay, you should also try those chords in different positions so you start making things a bit more interesting. Okay, so don't just play in first position. If you can put into your practice an element of actually reading rhythm or writing out your own rhythms and adding in chord structures, you're going to be laughing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Baby. When the night is young and the dark, do do do. 1, 2, up. So really accent on the right beats on the 1, 2, on the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, 8 on these compound time signatures. Notice that we're accenting where the drum's accenting. You hear that one? Snare. One more time. Just feel the groove. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to pause here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. Okay, now you want to be choosing, 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 you want to be choosing alongside practicing, obviously, reading rhythm, you want to put that into practice with songs. For those of you that have the sheet in front of you, a really good one to practice in terms of the rhythms that we have been discussing is Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. It's not the hardest intro to play. You're only playing 3 chords. I'm going to share that on the screen for those of you that can't see it, and for those of you at home watching videos online, this is what you'll be seeing. Okay, so you've got video example 7 here. We're just going back into 4/4 for a second. So at the end of all of these courses, I usually give song snippets, 2 song snippets. On Wednesday, we're going to be doing, I don't know if you guys know... Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac. That's a brilliant one for practicing what we call dotted rhythms, so we'll be going over that on Wednesday. But here, in audio example or video example 7, so there are a few videos in this, you've got this part here. Now you'll see that it's on a 12 string, who cares? Doesn't matter. We're not worried about that. But what we are worried about is just the rhythmic notation of this. So here on this first line, we actually have a dotted min and rest. This lasts for 3 beats. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, apple pie, blackberry, blackberry, blackberry coffee. That is the first bar with the uppy. You know, being able to see this visually and assign words suddenly goes, oh yeah, brilliant. And if you listen to the track, you'll hear it. So if we were to put it on, you'd hear 1, 2, 3, apple pie, 1, blackberry. You know what I mean? It's blackberry, blackberry, blackberry coffee, blackberry coffee, apple pie. You see what I mean? You can literally assign stuff to it. Now, I'm not overly worried. We're not going to be learning this song today. I don't think there's enough time. But we could just have a go at, say, the first 4 bars, okay? And we're going to do it quite slow. But there are no words in here. Okay, this is not about me teaching you how to read a song. It's about me getting that rhythm right. So before we try and do all the complicated and getting every single note right, we're just going to pick one chord. That chord is going to be E minor. Okay, if you want to do the E minor 7, go with the shape that's on the page, guys. Here, for some reason I can't, it's not letting me zoom in. I might just unshare that for a second and then just redo it. Okay, so I want you to... Sorry, one second. Okay, there. Now I can do it now. I don't know why it wasn't letting me. Okay, so here, okay, you put your normal E minor down with 2 fingers, 1 and 2 here, and then we're going to put the 3rd finger and the 4th finger down on these top 2 strings. So the tablature would look kind of like this at the top, 3, 3, 0, and then you've got a 2, and there would be a 2 underneath that and a 0 underneath that, but you're not playing the whole chord. But we are just now. Okay, so we're going to try and sight read this rhythm. Okay, so you've got no words whatsoever. We're just trying to sight read the rhythm. There'll be a counting. Remember that you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Sounds weird, doesn't it? It's very odd. So if that's too much, simply mute your strings, slow down, or just practice it like this. 1, 2, 3. So it's apple pie, blackberry, blackberry, blackberry coffee, blackberry coffee, apple pie, apple pie. Can we see that? So here's your blackberry rhythm, blackberry. So that's 1 beat where you've got an 8th note and 2 16th notes. 8th note, 2 16th notes. Blackberry, blackberry, blackberry coffee, blackberry coffee, apple pie, apple pie. It's a very weird rhythm because it keeps swapping around. That almost caught me out. It's bizarre because when you do most pop and rock songs, you'll find that you've got a repetitive pattern, but not with Mr. Floyd. Okay, so here we're going to just practice 1, 2, 3. Blackberry, blackberry, blackberry coffee, blackberry coffee, apple pie, apple pie. That's just me muting the strings. I'm just putting my fingers across. It just means I can concentrate on the rhythm. We'll try that again. Remember, you're coming in on beat 4. Dotted min and rest, guys. So it's 1, 2, 3. Apple pie. Ronnie's shaking his head. He's thinking, bloody hell. But again, it's all about practice. And just take the video, listen to it, you know, or listen to the track. If you own the track, stick it in a The best thing about doing this is you've got the rhythm. This is exact to what he's playing. So simply, guys, just download the song from iTunes or Amazon Music if you don't own it. Download an app to slow it down. Slow it right down. Just listen to it really like this. So it'd be 1, 2, 3. Apple pie, blackberry, blackberry, blackberry coffee, blackberry coffee, apple pie, apple pie. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to count you in. 1, 2, 3. Apple, blackberry, blackberry, blackberry coffee, blackberry coffee, apple pie, apple pie. Stumbling over myself. I've been teaching since 8. Hello. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'm not worried about getting it right. I'm just going between two chords now of E minor and G, but I'm focusing on that rhythm. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. You could just repeat those 2 bars. Ba, da, da. E minor, 2, 3. Coffee, blackberry, coffee, apple pie. I'm going to zoom in just because the people that will be watching this later will not know what the heck's going on. You can just repeat, because this upbeat, an upbeat, by the way, guys, anyone that's not sure what an upbeat is, it is literally when you start on the 4th or the 3rd beat of the bar or the 2nd beat. You just don't start on 1. So you might have a counting of 1, 2, 3, do-do-doom. So we can actually start here and then just loop these 2 bars. So here we go. And leave the 3rd and 4th down throughout those chords, okay? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ba, da, da, do. If you get more confident, start trying to do the individual notes. I definitely suggest playing this song with the whole chord down. Like, I wouldn't try and just do, I mean, here we've written as it is, but I would have those whole chord shapes down, because then if you strum the wrong strings, it actually doesn't matter. It's more important that you get the rhythm right. He never plays it right, to be honest. Okay, so that would just be those 2 chords followed by that A7 sus4 we did. So then you go... You don't have that. That's for another night. But that, honestly, that's a really great one. I just want to look at something that was in another course, but here we haven't gone over tied notes yet. If you see what looks like a little mound between 2 notes, that is a tie. If those 2 notes are the same pitch, if those 2 notes are a different pitch, that would be a slur. We will go over those ties on Wednesday. I just want to make sure if anyone's got any questions, we do those now. Of course, this is not a playing course, it's a rhythm course. But hopefully, I mean, for anyone that's been on the other courses, you can see how that's gone up. on Wednesday evening, I'm pretty sure we're doing, it's dotted rhythms, and we're really focusing on that. You have plenty of practice with the home practice examples. I think there's 2 full pages, maybe. I think there's 16 rhythms, and it goes through, there's a lot. But the one thing that I really want to suggest that you do is within the Dropbox, there is something called like the rhythm game or something like that. Now, what that's got is that's got all the rhythms so far that you will have done, and we give you the new rhythms as we do the new course. But basically, there are 12 options, single bar options, okay? And you have, just get a dice, or you could just decide I'm going to do 1, 5, 7, and 12. Doesn't matter. What I've done is, for my son, because I'm helping him to learn to read music, is I've taken that sheet, I printed it out, I laminated it, because I'm a teacher, couldn't help it, and then I cut it so you have 12 individual bars of music, and then you can pick any chord you want, but they're just 12 individual rhythmic bars. Stick them in an envelope or a bag, and then just put your hand in and randomly pick out 4. You then have all the time, like, if anyone's a mathematician, you could tell me how many times, if you had 4 different patterns with 12, how many different, I mean, there must be hundreds. There's going to be a lot of variations you can get. If you then say, I'm going to now do that with chords 1, 4, 5, and 6 in every single key, honestly, it's utterly brilliant. So you can sit there and you can go, I can take this game, I can turn it into an exercise, and I can do it at the level that I'm happy with. You will just be so good at reading rhythm within about a week. I think people get scared when it comes to reading music, but that's why I would always suggest learn to read rhythm first, because pitch is the second thing. Most of us want to be able to strum, and so you need to assign your practice to random rhythmic passages and randomize your chords. So just have a spinning wheel, and just write all the cycle of keys on it, and just spin, like, I don't know, a pen or something. Spin the bottle for key signatures. That'll pick your key. Do that key. Chords 1, 4, 5, and 6. 4 random bars of rhythm. You've got the most amazing exercise. And then those chords, again, you should say, right, I'm going to do them in first position, third position, fifth, wherever, to go through the entire cage system. And it's just, I wouldn't even need to give you anything. You'd just be awesome.
Andy,
Ronnie,
quick
yes.
question, yeah. I'm just wondering, I mean, I struggle with that at the end there. I think, there's a lot to take in, isn't there?
Yeah, there
We'll do
is.
a little bit of revision on Wednesday on this.
Yeah, I mean, you really want to go into, with this, the stuff in the home practice, and actually the pack itself, when you read it, does make sense, but it has to follow on from the previous course. But it's really important to put it into practice. I think you would have found the 6A easier than trying to do the last song. I think the last song, it's built, and I chose it because I think a lot of people would know it. The chords are simple, but if you want to be exact, reading that rhythm is really quite difficult. So I would be saying, right, get a pencil, write the words underneath for the patterns, and literally do 2-bar rhythmic sections. And sorry, I keep hitting the mic. 2-bar rhythmic sections, and piece that together. The key is
Yeah, sorry, Andy, but what I was going to say there, it's okay reading it, apple pie, blackberry, blackberry, coffee and things, but then putting in with the chords at the same time and being patient with yourself to get it right. This is going to take a long time to get it right, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember. I've got the app. It changed its name, didn't it? But it used to be called Read Rhythm.
Yeah.
I think if you search that on iTunes, you can get it for Android and iPhone and things. And that's kind of doing what the game's doing. I'll find a link. I'll send it to Ronnie, and then he can just forward it to everyone. Because if you're practicing to read rhythmic notation and practicing to play chord changes, you're making it twice as difficult. I would honestly suggest that you use, and we'll be doing this on Wednesday because it gets a little bit more complicated. I'm a little bit tempted to stay away from the songs and just say, guys, for Wednesday, print out the session PDF, make sure you know which one it is, and print out the home practice examples, because what is actually the most useful to you is just sitting there. Literally, we all just play the same chord, and you literally try and read those rhythms.
Yeah.
You will find that half of them, the home practice ones, half of them have the words written underneath and half of them do not. And that's just the idea, is that it starts off simple and just gets harder. And you really do want to be able to, the difficulty with this is that I'm purposefully making it slightly harder. Yeah. You're not just, it's not like a song where you're just going, the whole time it's like the same pattern. Hey, I've got the pattern. It's not that.
Well, let's open it up then for questions. I mean, you know, we want to wrap up. It's late, but any questions from people about that? Yeah, Ben.
Just a quick one, Andy.
Yes.
On the E minor 7 to G pattern, on the copy, are you downstrumming on both?
Oh, right. Are we looking? Let me just open up because I've closed it already.
Yeah, it's the end of the first. Well,
are you looking? Let me. I'll have to go and open it. Sorry, 1 second. Blah, 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 blah. Is this the song that we were just doing?
Yeah, I wish you were here.
Okay, so can you tell me what bar number are you looking at?
First bar E minor 7 to second bar G.
Okay, right. So I would be doing. I mean, if it was individuals, it would be down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. That would be my natural way of doing it. Because what I'm aiming for with the, I mean, obviously this is slightly different. It's more of a strumming course, but you would be. Yeah. So if you were to just don't worry about trying to play the actual exact tab. Just pick the chord of E minor 7. And I'd definitely do an up on that last one if I was playing a chord. Now I might, and I would do two. If I'm doing melody though, I might do 2 ups to be honest on that last one. I naturally did a down and an up on the open G to the 2 to the E, and then so my total strumming for that would be down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, or down there, probably. I mean, with that, to be honest, there isn't necessarily a completely set way. I mean, I could tell you that I'm doing it one way now, and then it might, you know, live on the night, that might just change slightly, but that would be my natural way of doing it. I'm always trying to do the first beat of the bar as a downstroke because I'm hitting the lower part and I'm not thinking like a guitarist. I'm trying to remember like a musician, so I'm thinking like a drummer. You'll probably see on the video, I'll probably naturally do it. Watch the video.
On the audio, yeah. So any other questions?
Bill.
Oh, Bill.
Hi.
Hi.
Not sure if this was covered in the previous one. Just to get into a point of detail,
yeah.
On apple pie and blackberry are both triplets, yeah?
No.
No. A triplet. We haven't done triplets at all. It's not a triplet. Okay. A triplet is where you have 3 notes that are played in the time of 2 of the equivalent length. So that would be triplet, lemonade, lemonade, lemonade. This is blackberry, da 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 dum dum dum. Or apple pie, apple pie, apple pie, apple pie, lemonade, lemon. So actually, a really good exercise that you guys can do is that you line up. So you do a whole bar of one rhythm, right? You line up. So we could try it just for a second. If you did, Bill, say we pick the chord of E minor 7, the one we're just doing. I'm not plugged in now, sorry, but you would be, let's do crotchet. So it's crotchet, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, then quaver. Now triplet would be lemonade, 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 Coca-Cola, 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 Coca. Now apple pie, apple pie. Okay, so you got apple pie, apple pie, apple pie, apple pie, apple pie, apple. Now blackberry, blackberry, blackberry. And you literally do 1 bar of a whole rhythm. And the only reason you're doing that is so that you can really get used to what it feels like. It's really important that if you want it, I'll show you just how it's written and then you'll know. Because we're going, I can't remember whether it's Wednesday or I think it's the following level we do triplets. Now, you could have said that 6/8 was just triplets the whole time, but the reason we don't do that is because you'd have to write this over every single group of 3. Right? Here's a crotchet. Here's 2 8th notes. Here's a triplet. And here's 4 16th notes. So here you've got, sorry, that's not brilliant for you guys to see. T, coffee, lemonade, Coca-Cola. Tea, coffee, lemonade, Coca-Cola. So again, I know I'm assigning words, but you're trying to do something in the right speed. Ba, da, 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 da. So here, every single note that you're playing is the same length. If we change this, okay, so it was apple pie. Apple is said quick and the pie is long. Apple pie, apple pie. I mean, you could go apple pie, apple pie. You could change it to sound like a triplet. But if you just, I mean, you could have anything you want. I think Barry Badger, as we call him, I love Barry. Barry Bond is his name, isn't it? I think he sent through something that Ronnie put on Facebook the other day, which is really good to print out. But yeah, lemonade would be where every note, sorry, a triplet would be, lemonade, God, I'm going mental. Every word or every note would be of equal length, okay? But you've got 3 of them. Now, 6/8, you could just be in 4/4 or 2/4 and just write this all the time. But the reason we don't do that, the reason we have compound time signatures is because essentially you're just playing triplets all the time, but it would be very annoying to print it out with 3s above every single group of notes. So you then get these compound time signatures of 6/8, 9/8, 12/8, which kind of alleviate the necessity for that 3, and you end up with six, 8, and instead of being crotchets, it's now, we'll go over this on Wednesday, dotted crotchets. So that alleviates the need for everything to be called a triplet. I'm going off piece there a little bit, but hopefully that answers the question.